Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of the Platinum Initiative podcast. So, I had a wonderful day today. Absolutely wonderful day. I finally got my platinum in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Congratulations. I know that one was killing you. How many people did you teabag? If you have to guess.
I started doing that when my character was level
Oh, hold on,
43,
hold
I
on.
think it
For
was.
anyone unaware, there's a glitch in the game that involves
It's not a glitch. It's not a glitch.
exploit. What would you call it? Okay,
There you
there's
go.
there's an
Exploit. That's
exploit in
better.
the game where you can teabag people repeatedly to get free XP. And Waz did this for several hours. Go on, Waz.
Of the 80 some hours I put into the game, I probably did that for about 5 to 8 of them. But turbo controller, so I wasn't really sitting there. But no, your character maxes out at level 99, but uh, every time you rank up, it does still pop up on the screen what rank you are. And the last one I was at, it was like 283 or 285 somewhere in there. So um, I ranked up quite a bit. So it was all on purpose of getting trying to get my character to be God mode, where I could just go in and one hit kill any kind of enemy and just speed up the cleanup. But I've been playing the game since November.
So,
That's just way too
but
long for
as
one
of right
game.
now, the exploit is still in the game, right?
Yeah. At some point they probably will patch it, I would imagine, because it's it is pretty cheesy. So relatively, what you do is you knock out an enemy. And you can do it to any enemy you want, as long as you can add them to the crew on your ship. If you map the button that adds them to your ship, you recruit them. If you map that button to another non-functional kind of button, you can just keep repeating that button press without holding it down, and it will recruit them for XP, but not actually recruit them. So you just keep hitting the button over and over and over again. And yeah, so I mean, hours worth of that, and I was able to max out fire damage, critical hit, critical chance. Whenever I get hit, it added health back to me. You name it.
I've
It was
been
great.
considering getting that game for quite a while. I just recently, I think it was in January, I platinumed Origins, and I really enjoyed it. But I didn't want to go through another 80 hours of, well, let's just call it hell, to platinum that game. So I held off on buying Odyssey, but I kind of, I want to do it just so I can use the exploit and kind of bypass the second 40 hours of the game.
Well,
Well, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
like the good thing about that thing is you can use it as soon as you get off Kefalonia, which is where you start, because as soon as you're allowed to recruit people, you can start using the thing. So you can do it like I don't know. I got off Kefalonia and I was like level 5, so you can use it from then onwards if you
Uh,
wanted to.
You want to be careful though, because you can rank yourself up, and because of level scaling, the enemies might be level 50, but then your equipment's level
That's
5.
a good point. It's
Yeah, that's
probably
also
best
true.
to do after you've beaten the game and you're just wanting to clean up for the trophies.
I mean, even so, they still scale up to you.
Yeah, but at that point you'd have,
Like I'm
yeah,
level
you'd
50
have like
now,
a,
and my gear is level 38.
yeah. But I figure it'd be easier to do it after you've beaten the game. Like,
I mean, yeah, because you have the gold. If you have the gold so that you can upgrade your weapons back up to the level you make it to, then it's easier. But yeah, you could technically give yourself a little bit of a head start without going all the way to 99.
or 280.
Yeah, whatever.
so, Assassin's Creed is one of those franchises that I love history. Like that was my favorite topic or subject in school, and I thought I would absolutely adore Assassin's Creed. The problem is, I hate stealth games. I played the first game in the series around the time it came out, and I couldn't get past the first hour. I didn't like it. And that's kind of an interesting question. Are there any video game franchises that you guys wish you could get into? Maybe it's the subject or the setting that makes you want to get into the franchise, but for one reason or another, you just can't. For me, it's definitely Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
don't know. I don't know if there's one specific one for me, but more or less a genre is I can't get into any of the war games. So whether it be Battlefield or Call of Duty, games like that, and the reason why I find it odd that I can't get into them, mostly because I'm just not very good. Probably that's maybe a little category A.
Terrible.
Uh, but I can't get into it because back on the PS3, one of my favorite games of all time is Warhawk. And if you look at the games I play and the games that I enjoy, a choice for me of saying one of my favorite games is Warhawk would absolutely be bizarre if you again look at what I enjoy to play. But it's like that. It's like I wish I could bottle that up, bottle the feeling of playing that game and being competitive and actually being good at that game, believe it or not, and take that into another world like a Battlefield or a Call of Duty. But I think I played, I don't know, Modern Warfare 3, one of those, and halfway through the story, got bored with it, went and played online, got sniped right away twice, put the game back in the case, and off to the video game store to trade in it went.
Is it the first person perspective? Because you've told me before you don't really like first person games. Or is it just that you don't like the war setting? Like, what is it about it?
I would that's actually very intuitive because Warhawk was third person.
See, I actually have no idea. I
So
have no idea what Warhawk is. You've mentioned it like 10 times already. No idea what that game is.
it oh, it was wonderful. It
It's,
was like
it's not important. Go
so
on.
oh it's
I mean, I've
it's
never
great.
heard of it before
Yeah.
you mentioned it, so how good could it be?
We will have a spin-off podcast, a 3-hour podcast just discussing Warhawk. No, I'm
Oh,
joking.
jeez.
Um, I'll just be talking to myself. Uh, no, but it is. I don't know what it is with first person. I mean, it's partially that I don't want to say that it's claustrophobia of that nature. I do find it very disorienting when it's first person. I don't know. For whatever reason, I don't care for it. But I'm on.
I
Well, yeah, that
Yeah,
we
we
knew.
did. But I like first person games. When it's a competitive game, I prefer first person. If it's a single player game, like a narrative driven game, I prefer third person, like Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Last of Us.
For me, it kind of depends. The only thing I like better in first person is shooters. That's like literally it, though.
Fair enough. In your words, fair enough. But
Exactly.
Shield.
For you said first
Yeah,
person for
yeah.
shooters, right?
Yeah, first person for shooters, but that's like the only thing that I like first person in.
Okay, so I have two questions. The first one, what about first person like sword games? I can't think of that game. Is it Shadow Warrior, where you're mainly using a sword?
Um, well, I can think of one off the top of my head that I played and sort of enjoyed. It was, um, Chivalry. That's what it's called.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's like if you took, For Honor and made it first person. That was okay, but I like For Honor better because it's in third person. I don't play Skyrim in first person either, unless I'm an archer because then it's basically like a first person shooter at that
I
point.
honestly didn't know that you could switch to perspective in Skyrim or Elder Scrolls in general. But I'm not.
You
Well,
can make Skyrim
Yeah,
a third person game.
this is news to me.
yes, you can make Skyrim a third person game. If you hold, I think it's down on the D-pad, it changes it to a
Was it like
third
that
person.
with Oblivion?
That's what I always do. Yeah, you can do it in Oblivion also.
God, I actually played like 4 hours of that game. How did I not know that? I
Well,
Skyrim's actually one of those games where I played that for a little bit too. I couldn't get into that either, and I don't know if it was just too many fetch quests at the beginning that just got
Yeah.
bored, but
that
it
saddens me.
seems well, it seems like it's my kind of game. I do like the
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 80-hour fetch quest that I just did.
Oh,
but-
well, you see, it's much better than that because it's not pointless, do whatever. It's you do things. I don't know. It's more adventure-y and like exploring than Assassin's Creed, where you're like, oh yeah, I walked into this area. This is the stuff I have to do. When you walk
Oh,
into a
you
place,
you
you
make
have
it
no
sound
idea.
so
There's
bad.
quite an adventure. Nah,
Okay.
there's quite an adventure. I mean, I'm on the way to this fort, and then all of a sudden a bear attacks me, or wolves.
Yeah, and
very
then you
adventurous.
one-shot it because you're level 99.
Well, I am no.
Hey,
Actually,
wait.
I am.
You beat the game before you used the exploit, right? Yeah, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And here, let me explain. So when I beat the game, there are I think 46 cultists. I think these people in a cult that you got to go take out. I'm getting the number wrong, but it's like 40 something. There are 50 mercenaries as well, and you have to climb to the top. You have to kill all the cultists. You have to climb to the top of the mercenaries. Regardless of what mercenary you kill that's in front of you, if they're 8 spots ahead of you or 1 spot, you only move up 1 spot, and there's a trophy for becoming the top one. The cultists, then same thing. There's just so many of them. I didn't want to go. And the cultists, they're in a fort with 30 other guys in there that are all equal level to you. They're maxed out with God knows what. I would play this game sometimes before work. I think I was saying this to Heald earlier today. I'd play this game before work, and I'd be going into some fort to go clear it out of the enemies, as part of the story. And it'd take me 45 minutes just to do one fort because you're stealthily walking in and, carefully shooting that guy, using your assassin abilities on this one, that one. I think I'm not going to go continue to play the next, what ended up being 40 hours of the game. If I would have done it, we'll say with finger quotes, legitimately, without the exploit, it would have taken me probably another 100, I would imagine. And I understand there's people that say, well, they platinum the game much faster than that, but
Waz is bad at games. So,
of course it
Yeah.
would take 100.
I'm eventually good at games.
It just takes you 200 hours to get there.
But the problem I had with this game is you're getting this cultist here, you're doing this mercenary, you're doing this side mission. It felt like I was wasting so much time in load screens, going from area to area to area to area instead of just focusing on one place. I mean, partly that was my fault, but I wanted the exploit, so I just go in, just clear stuff out. I was done with
we
the
got
game.
it, Waz. We got it. You don't have to defend yourself.
Just finish it.
You're bad
I
at
am
games,
defending
and you
myself.
needed an exploit to finish it off. We get it. It's okay.
I
We're
totally
not gonna
understand.
call Ubisoft and tell them that you cheated. It's all good.
I'm we've settled for I'm not bad at games. I'm slightly above average.
I highly disagree, but I'm gonna quote you. Yeah,
Almost
exactly. That's exactly where I was going with this. There are some games where you're above average, slightly above average, and then there's everything else.
Okay.
But hold on, I'm gonna call out Heald here because he dodged the question. I answered. I said Assassin's Creed. Waz gave us a very long-winded answer and defended himself. Your turn.
Okay, let me think about this. What was... I had something in my head, but now I just totally lost it. Oh, okay. How about we just go with Mortal Kombat? I don't know.
I
Can't do it.
so wish I was good at fighting games. The only thing close to a fighting game, but I am remotely, I'll say slightly above average at, like Waz, is Smash Bros. And that's not really even a fighting game, really. At least some people don't consider it to be. I wish I was good at fighting games. They look so fun.
They are.
When I play fighting games, it's like I'm blind. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
See, I get that, but like I don't actually have that problem. I'm actually really good at fighting games, and I'm not even bad at Mortal Kombat. It's just I can't like it. I don't know.
I can't like it.
It's like, okay, when
you do have the
play
ability to like it. I give you permission.
Can we make a shirt?
Alright. Well,
Can we
thanks.
make
Now
a
that you
shirt
have
that
that.
just says I can't like it?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I need that. I'll just wear it all the time. But yeah, no, like, see, I like all of the other fighting games for specific reasons, right?
Uh-huh.
Like Soul Calibur, I like because I like all the characters and I like the sword fighting stuff to be built into the fighting game. I like Street Fighter for the fluid combo styles. I like Tekken because if you're really, really good at it, nobody can touch you. But I just don't have that with Mortal Kombat. The only thing it's really got is the fatalities and the over-the-top gore and stuff, but I'm not really into over-the-top gore, so it doesn't
I feel
sell
like
me
a
on
lot
it.
of people who are like pure into more pure fighting games like Street Fighter have a disdain for Mortal Kombat. I think that's pretty common.
Because I feel like all that Mortal Kombat is you simplify Tekken and then you make it
Mortal
flashy.
Kombat is the Call of Duty of first-person shooters.
Fighting games, you mean?
That's what I meant. Yes. Yes, you caught me there.
But yeah, that's exactly why I can't get into it. I don't know. It's just, it's
Yeah,
not my
I
thing.
get it. I get it.
I mean, I played Injustice 2. I did platinum that one. Thank you, Turbo Controller.
Wait, did you play it or did you use an exploit?
No, there's no exploit. It's built in. It's a ridiculous system to the game. But the only legitimate playing you actually do, because you can just boost the online stuff, because you go play online and people just they've been playing the game for 1,000 hours. You stand no chance.
Especially if you're was.
Especially if you're me, correct. But no, you got to play the story mode, which is boring and does get a little challenging in certain places if you're not good at those games. So it was challenging a little bit for me. But no, they have because I think Mortal Kombat has the same thing where you can use AI to fight for you.
Yeah, well, they're both NetherRealm games, and so they have that built in.
So I think of in Injustice, there's 20 some characters. Again, I don't remember the number. You have to rank them all up to level 20 for a trophy. I think I did 2 or 3 of them legitimately because it just takes a long time. Other than that, I just loaded in the AI and said, you can go rank up the rest of the characters. I don't really care. And but those games baffle me that people can play those so well when you got to use your cursor button and do a diagonal thing. And I was like, there's an up and there's a right. How the heck do I do a diagonal? It's just one button. It just swivels funny. It's beyond
I feel like
me.
people who are into
get
fighting games are listening to this with intense rage.
Could be. Hey, I gave him credit for using the controller in a manner that when I look at it doesn't look like it should be used. So
Well,
That's fair.
fair enough, right, Field? Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, did you guys watch the PlayStation State of Play?
Oh hell yeah! Monster Hunter
All right,
announcement.
we're gonna geek out about Monster Hunter a bit. Field more than me. Go ahead. What were your thoughts?
Well, that was absolutely wonderful that they announced that it is like only a month away.
A month?
Oh man, can't wait.
I
Yeah,
thought that
a
said
month away.
September.
Well, it said 6.
I thought it was
6
9/6/2019.
something. No, I thought it was.
Well, hold on.
Whatever. I'm pretty sure the thing.
What?
Heald's
I've
gonna be
been
waiting
watching
at the
the
game
videos on
store for months.
Look it up for me.
I
to
can't
make
do
sure,
that
but
because I can't do that because my keyboard is incredibly loud.
Oh, right.
So someone else
That's
has
true.
to look it up. But I was pretty sure.
All right. Well, anyway, I'll look it up, and while I'm doing that, I'll talk about other stuff a bit. So, anyway, the new area looks wonderful. All that wonderful snow. Oh, I love snow, especially because it's dynamic snow. So when your characters move,
September
there's a
6th,
trail
though.
behind you.
It's September
awesome.
6th.
Oh,
Yeah.
September 6th. Damn, I got the numbers
What are
flipped
you,
around.
European?
See? No,
We-
I'm just dyslexic. That's all.
We should have never told him, and then he's waiting at like, GameStop, before it opens.
Whatever.
Well,
Nine.
You just crushed my
Well,
hopes
Waz,
and
that is a
dreams.
pretty picture, but I'm pretty sure this is just a downloadable thing, so he wouldn't actually be a game.
I mean, you can buy it as a
you?
disc.
Is it like its own expansion?
Yeah. Yeah, you can buy it as a physical
Wait,
disc
hold
if you
on.
wanted
Wait,
to.
so does
So
that
you
mean
can
that
use
I
them.
don't need to own Monster Hunter World to play?
No, you have to own Monster Hunter World to have it. It works the same way as the Final Fantasy XIV
How would I know? I don't
expansions.
play that.
You get the disc, and okay, fine. Well, I'm going to explain it to you. You get the disc, you put it in, the disc downloads the thing. Now you have the expansion. Ta-da! It's really pointless. You might as well just download it. But if you want a pretty case, you can do it that way.
By the way, speaking of the state of play, because you just mentioned Final Fantasy, if I remember right, there was like Final Fantasy VII
Remake.
something, right?
Yes. Well, don't anger more
Okay.
people. Especially not the Final
No, I'm
Fantasy
just-
VII fans.
No, you
That's a
should.
lot of people.
This is what's probably most enjoyable for everyone about me is I play a lot of games, but at the same time I live in my own completely own world. I'm assuming there is a Final Fantasy 1.
Yes, it's called
Right.
Final
Yes.
Fantasy.
Okay, and there's a 2, a 3,
Yes.
a 4, etc.
Yes,
correct?
it goes all the way up.
Okay.
That's how numbers
Every time I
work.
see something, there's like Final Fantasy 7, there's Final Fantasy
Uh-huh,
15, there's whatever. It only seems like there's 3 games and they keep remaking the
That
same
is
game over
definitely
and
not
over.
true. There's like 300 Final Fantasy games. Yeah,
There's a
there's
ton.
15.
And they are remaking
Yeah, there's
7
15.
now.
Well, no, not 15. Because 13 has 3 games, right? Or is it 2 games?
13 is
and-
3, yeah. You got 13, 13-2, and 13
Right,
Lightning.
and then 10
Strikes
has
at-
2. So there's like
Yes.
18, 19 mainline games, a bunch of like spin-offs and
Not counting Crystal Bearers and all the
No,
other
but-
little side games. The Chocobo Dungeon
Final Fantasy
ones.
VII Remake is a remake from the PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy VII game. It is the most beloved Final Fantasy in the series. By most people,
most
yeah.
people.
Some people prefer 9.
So Healed apparently doesn't. He wouldn't have made that comment otherwise.
No, I'm just saying by most people. It actually is not my favorite one, but that's not
So
the
what
point.
is your favorite?
6,
Okay.
but that's just because
It's
Kefka.
6, 7, and 9. Those are the ones that people usually say are the best ones.
I don't know. A lot of people say like 10.
Yeah,
10's
it's
usually
usually
up
up there,
there.
yeah. But what did you think of the trailer?
It was really interesting. I like the trailer. I like all the animation and stuff. But here's something that may totally ruin the game for me that you might not know already, which is the game is
Yeah,
episodic.
they announced that when they announced the game like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, that episodic
Well,
games
hold
do
on,
not
hold
work
on.
for
It's
me.
episodic in the sense that 10 and 10-2 exist, not like the Telltale games. So basically,
All right.
they are expanding. From what I'm understanding, I could be wrong, but they're expanding the game. They're gonna add like extra content that wasn't in the original game, like more dungeons and whatnot, and cut it into 2, possibly 3 separate games. You have a dog
Alright,
barking
makes sense.
in your background.
dog's
Control
very
the dog. I know maybe he's upset by the news that Final Fantasy is being split up into multiple games, but I honestly I get it. I get why people would be upset about that because it's something that people have been waiting for. It's been over 20 years now, right? Since the original game came
Wait,
out.
so the
It's been out for a long time.
what do you mean
Final
original
Fantasy
game?
VII,
Means
yeah.
7?
It came out on the
Final
PS1,
Fantasy
I think it was
VII,
in
yeah.
1997.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's been a long
Yeah,
time.
so, people seem
That's
very up and down
back then.
about the trailer. Some people seem to like it. I thought it looked really good. But some people don't like the real-time combat. They wanted the turn-based combat from the original game.
Well, I can't.
I
fault
can't
them
either
on
because I
that.
prefer turn-based RPGs, if I'm being honest with you. But at the same time,
I mean, same.
I kind of get it because they want to appeal to a bigger audience, and turn-based combat isn't exactly popular outside of Pokemon these days. So,
But
Or Dragon Quest.
if you're going to change the game, who are you trying to sell it to? People like me? I'm not buying it. So you might as well just leave the thing
but
alone.
no, I think the
Just go
thought
off the
process
course.
is
They've-
even people who are upset by this are gonna buy it because they're Final Fantasy nerds. So they want to appeal to everyone else. Like, I get it.
I mean, basically, they went through a whole lot of trouble to make a combat system for 15. And they just wanted to use the combat system for 15 again, so they didn't have to make another whole combat
Which I don't
system.
think is a bad system, by the way. Like, 15 has its problems,
Yeah.
but the combat system isn't really one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, besides magic. Screw
So-
magic in that game. But
So, okay,
The
so
rest
the
of it
one thing that
works.
people are incredibly upset about is the fact that Tifa was not in the trailer. And the reason that people are speculating has to do with the size of her breasts. In the original game, they were very,
Yes.
very large, and people are speculating that they're gonna decrease the size for this game, which I'm all fine with, but they didn't want to upset people
So they didn't want
by showing it now.
to
Yeah.
make people mad before they
Exactly.
bought the game.
which I can definitely understand. But also, I totally understand why they would reduce that because
It
I
was
mean-
unrealistic.
Okay,
well,
just
yeah, I mean,
another
it was
dumb
back in the
question.
time when
but-
everything was like polygon, square, and triangles anyway. So it was like,
So
I don't know.
they make the person look more realistic. They adapt it to modern times. If they showed that, are people going to not buy the game?
No, but
I don't know.
And if they
People are already
how sad is that?
Look,
Crap from it too. Like they were complaining about Barrett's
Yeah.
voice. That's another complaint, which is really
you
stupid.
can't
because,
hear
I
his
mean,
voice in the original game. Can you?
Yeah, I know he doesn't.
There's no voice
I
acting
mean,
in the game.
Okay. Yeah, there's no voice acting in the game. He makes funny noises every once in a while.
So how
but
would you know what he sounds like?
I don't know. They just didn't like the imagination sounds.
That's just silly to me.
I have no idea.
Is that a person
It's a
or
person.
an animal?
Barrett is a
Yeah.
guy. He's
He
like this.
probably should talk instead of just making sounds. That would make sense.
Well, okay. Let's put it this way. It was a PS1 game. They didn't have full voiceover.
It was probably, I think it was the biggest game on the PS1, like file size. It was on 3 discs, and so adding voiceovers to the game would have just made it even bigger. So they just went with full
Yeah.
text.
They had plenty of voice stuff in PS1 games. Madden had full commentary. Madden 99, come on.
Madden 99 wasn't as big of a game as Final Fantasy 7.
That was my first PlayStation game.
I've never owned a Madden game, so I wouldn't know.
Terrell Davis was on the
I
cover.
have no idea who that is.
He was awesome. See,
You don't know
we're
it.
too
You-
young.
No, it's not that I'm too young. I just don't care about football. Like, I know I live in America. I'm not originally from here, and I just don't care about American football. Like, I'm sorry. It's just not my thing. I love basketball. I love hockey.
I'll give you a pass because you like other sports. You get a pass
Thank you.
because it's
By
not-
the
it's
way,
not for everyone.
I just want to
had
say it. I'm really happy the Rockets lost last night.
Oh, same. Agreed.
Moving on, because Hield's about to have an aneurysm.
Again,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
It
yeah,
happens every time.
exactly. It's a common occurrence.
Okay, so
Right. Yeah. So Final Fantasy 74 is coming out.
Final Fantasy VII
Yeah,
Remake.
70.
We still don't have a date, right? I'm pretty sure we didn't show a date or anything.
That
No,
one's probably
they
that
didn't
one's
give
probably
us a
June
date.
9th.
They said new. You know, thanks. But no, they said that there was going to be more details soon. They
Probably at
didn't say what the
E3, because
actual
I'm pretty
date.
sure Square Enix is going to have a E3 press conference.
I
I wouldn't be
imagine so, yeah.
shocked if that's a
Here's-
PS5 game,
okay,
by the
so-
way.
So here's a question about E3 because everyone's backing out of it. It seems. Is it just going to be Square Enix and like Sony? No, I guess Sony's not doing anything. I was going to say they're doing the parking lot across the street again.
Well, I think it's mostly going to be, as opposed to like the platforms, it's mostly just going to be the game developers.
So Sony completely backed out of E3. They might have like a state of play type of video that they show at some point during E3, but they will not be there in any fashion. They said it was because they had nothing else to really show because the generation is basically done. All of their resources are, being put towards the PS5, and they didn't want to come and show the same 4 games that they showed last year, which is The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, and I forgot the 4th one. I think it was actually Days Gone, but that just came out. So
do you think that I don't want to say the internet, just say this just generic term, but the modern internet killed or is killing E3? Because you don't need that kind of, like Sony, for instance, they could just say, well, here's a trailer, another trailer for Last of Us 2, and then boom, go distribute it out to the GameSpots, the IGNs of the world, and that's just effective as an E3.
Nintendo hasn't really been at E3 either the last 5 years. They just show a video. They don't actually have a conference like Sony does. Microsoft will still be there this year, doing the same thing they do every year. I don't think the internet killed E3 because last year E3 broke basically every record that they ever had before. It was the most watched E3 online. It was the biggest audience at E3.
No, I get that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like a Nintendo for the last 5 years now probably hasn't been at one, and they've done their
think
direct.
It's just cheaper. It's just cheaper for
Right, but that's what I'm saying is they just do their directs, and that Nintendo Direct that is probably pre-recorded and edited over the previous month or two is just as effective as probably some $100,000 press like Sony's press conferences that they have are probably ridiculously expensive.
There's two things you have to keep in mind. First of all, Nintendo can't have press conferences anymore because they don't really show third-party games. They don't have relationships with Capcom and EA and 2K like Sony and Microsoft do. Sony and Microsoft make money by showing other people's games. Nintendo doesn't really get that. The second thing is, we as fans think of E3 as a fan thing. It's not. It's a trade show. A lot of business deals are made during the week of E3 that we know nothing about. It's more than just them showing us what's coming up. It's them showing investors what's coming up in the next 12 to 18 months. Them signing new deals with developers that are up and coming and whatnot. Even buying developers. It's more than just a show. And because of that, I think once the next year, 2020, I think Sony will be back. They're going to show the PS5. And things will go back to normal. I don't see E3 being less relevant or the internet taking away from it. That's just my opinion.
I'd like that. I actually enjoyed, to have, what was it, Monday and Tuesday of that week. I'd actually take off work because I tried watching at work and I get frowns. So no, I take off and actually watch the press conferences, which sounds extremely silly to anyone that's not.
Oh yeah,
in the
but in the
gaming
gaming
world.
world, a lot of people do that. I did it.
Yeah, I mean it's with I'll call them regular people, using finger quotes. You try to explain that to them, and they
But
give you that just
like
stink
sports
eye. Like,
fans
what the hell are
take
you
days off to watch the NFL draft, right? Like that's normal.
No, I didn't do that.
You didn't do that, but other people do.
I did that.
My sarcasm
Wow.
meter is just off today. It's not working. Non-functional. but but yeah, I mean, it's something that we're into, and we're willing to sacrifice a day of work for it. It might seem silly to people who aren't playing games, but at the same time, to Heald, it might seem silly that you took off to watch the NFL draft.
Which it does.
It's great. It's exciting.
It is not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sell you on that, because even casual sport fans find that, or casual football fans
It
find
is.
that
It is ridiculous.
that you'd sit
It
there and
is.
watch
I
the
mean,
draft.
I am very big into basketball and hockey. After the first round of the draft, I could not watch anymore. I fall asleep.
That's fine, but do you?
I
do you
watched
watch
the first round for my team to draft, make a mistake, and then I turn it off.
Okay, so I'll try to find something comparable then. Ignore the draft. Do you sit there and watch the lottery? The draft lottery. Do you watch that?
I'm a New York Knicks fan, so unfortunately, I watch it every year. That is very sad, but yes, I do.
Because I would say that the first round of both the NFL and NBA are very similar, but NFL second, third, fourth, fifth round, that I would compare. Although it takes much longer than the draft lottery, I would say it's like watching the lottery, because you watch the lottery and it's like, okay, this team gets to pick at this, and it's like that means absolutely nothing, because you have no idea who's picking who ahead of you. Now, if you get the number one spot, it's one thing, but you watch the draft and it's like, okay, round 4, the Minnesota Vikings pick up, such and such player. And you're like, okay, well, I don't know who that guy is, but I'm super excited because the team's excited.
No, I mean, I tried to watch the NHL draft last year, and again, I got to the second round, my team was picking, towards the start of the round. I fell asleep. My team hadn't even gotten to pick yet, and I fell asleep. It's just so boring. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. Like, I remember when the draft was on, mostly on Saturday and Sunday, and you'd be watching it Sunday afternoon, round 5 comes on, you get a nice good nap in, you wake up, you fall asleep when your team picks, and you wake up and your team's picking again, you miss 30 some picks in between. It's great. Good napping material.
Yeah, just like this conversation.
Oh no.
Well, hold on, Heald. We're doing Florida or Virginia. I always forget where their parents or dad lives.
I'm in
Okay,
Virginia
okay.
now.
Okay.
I was in Florida.
I was gonna say, if you were in Florida, you could walk outside and just raise your arms up. Somebody would probably shoot you, pull you out
That's
of your
true.
misery.
Wow, what the heck was that?
Oh, dude, I've lived in Florida. It's
Oh
very
no,
cool.
he'll tell me a bunch of stories about this. So, I mean, he wants to be put out of his misery.
Exactly.
All right.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Heald and I have made these jokes. I guess you weren't around for that, but
No, I'm kind of glad I wasn't around. Unless I could talk some sense into it, maybe I would one day.
hey, I'm not condoning any of this. This is just a joke. Heald knows this. I hope so, at
Alright.
least.
Nope, definitely not. No. Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we've had enough for today.
You know what?
That's fair.
Maybe, just maybe we've had enough. You're right.
All right. So we'll cut it here. Thanks for everyone to listen today, and talk to you again in a week or two.
Alright,
Have a
see
good
you
one.
guys.
See ya.